Tobias has been joining on our morning walks again, but the dogs keep a very safe distance when he joins us for the walks, because he has a habit of running up to them and just scratching them with his claws. Hello and welcome to a brand new video. I've been feeling a little bit overwhelmed the last month or so with all the work that needs to be done, not just on the renovation, but the farm, trying to keep up with everything that needs to happen, family life back home, but also my daily work that needs to get done, and everything's been feeling like it's slipping through my fingers. So I sat back, I had a conversation with someone, and I realized that it's okay not to do everything by yourself. And it's okay to get help in, to help you move through things, to take some of that weight off your shoulders. Since I can't really give any of the other work away, especially my day job, of course, I decided that I was going to get some help with the renovation. The reason that I didn't want to really go with help and why I wanted to do everything myself, of course, is to save money, because hiring people to do many of these things is quite expensive. To paint a picture as to what that kind of costs in a day, I mean, it's not ridiculously expensive, but it all does add up. Daily labor costs about 80 euros per day. It's more or less 10 to 12 euros per hour per person. So, people usually work for 80 euros per day. So it can get quite expensive. You know, getting things done is really nice, but at the end of the day, you've got to decide time versus energy versus effort versus, of course, finances as well. But I decided to forego that and spend a little bit of money to just help me move forward on some of my projects. And to be quite fair, the work that's been done in the last week actually probably saves me a month of my own time, because it probably would have taken me a month to get through all of that, just because my time is just so limited and I've only got weekends to do the renovation. So really excited to show you what has happened this week, because it really has made a big difference in how I feel about the structure and what's going on here. So let me show you what's happened this week. In this week's episode, I do a little bit more grouting, and the ceiling finally gets painted. This is Girl Meets Farm. There are many spiders on the farm. Mostly I find wolf spiders and also huntsman spiders, or a cross between them, running around the farm, and they've got nests all over the place. But this was the very first time that I actually saw an argiope spider. I think that's how you say it, or an argiope. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. It is in the weaver family, in the orb weaver of spiders, so they're completely harmless. They spin really beautiful webs to catch their prey overnight, and usually bring all the webs back in the morning before going to hide out for the day. This beautiful lady was situated on my storeroom wall, and the next morning I found her having spun a web across my door, which gave me quite a big fright actually as I walked through it. So I needed to transfer her to one of the closer trees. I put her in one of the pear trees, and I think she's quite happy with her new lodgings. Just finished another little section from mid-pillar to about here, in line with the olive oil, I would say. Ever watchful? So the section by the door and in the passageway must still be done. I'm thinking about squaring off like this section so I can still walk there and around here, and then do the passageway and then do this section here. We'll see. We'll see when I get to it how I feel. Getting there. What has also arrived this week is my stone trim for all the edges next to the wall. I plan on putting these stone pieces of mosaics cutting them obviously two sides, but just to give you an idea what that's going to look like against the tiles. I actually quite like that. I think they go so well with the tiles, and I think that's going to round things off really, really nicely once that's done. But I'm only going to start that once I finish the grouting, so hopefully soon I can finish off the edging as well. It's been absolutely lovely to live like this for a couple of days with everything over there, all of my utilities and stuff and plugs close by, almost like a real kitchen. This has made such a big difference in my life. I can't tell you what a huge improvement this has been. So I cannot wait to get the final kitchen here. And I think that's going to make such a big difference in my life. But we're months away from that. Regardless, the last couple of days have actually been fantastic living this way. And I've moved all my storage to that side, of course. But right now, I'm going to have to take all of these boxes that are not in the bins over there, are against the wall, and move them into that room, move the gas cooker out again into that room, because you probably noticed this, I have bought a little sander, which I think is going to come in super handy, paint, glue, and what is this? Some cornicing that I'm planning on putting up over there. I think that's going to round off the plasterboard, where the plasterboard meets the wall, quite nicely. And although it might not cover all the big gaps, like 100%, I can always fill the little bit where they don't necessarily cover. I'm planning on doing it on all the walls. This one and the pitch all the way around. We'll see how that looks. We'll see how that works. I've also got paint for the beam. I'm going to paint that a little bit darker so that it looks very similar to the color that I have on the wooden beams, actually. And I'm actually decided to get help. I will not be doing this myself. I'm going to reward myself a little bit and just try and keep things moving forward. So tomorrow I have two guys that are going to come and sand all the plasterboard down for me. They're then going to do a primary and a second coat of paint, and hopefully also put up the cornicing for me over the next 2 days. So I'm really excited to actually see what that looks like, because it's almost been a year. Well, yeah, July, August I think is when I had this plasterboard put in last year. So it's been almost a year that it's looked this way. Yeah, so let's move forward. Right, so I managed to move everything over. It's a little cramped in here, and my working situation is a little bit weird, but you know what, I can live with that for like 2 days. I moved everything, moved the kitchen, moved, well, everything that needed to move over. I plasticed everything up. The guys have just actually left for the day. They've just finished the first day. So I can take some of the plastic off, and then I'm just going to vacuum quickly in there after the sanding. But I think it was a pretty successful day. They surprised me by being a little bit more perfectionistic than I am. They arrived with all their own tools as well, even though I had everything here as well for them. But it was nice that they actually brought some of their own stuff as well, and came really well prepared. All these old tarps and stuff. So the plastic that I had put down for them was just used wherever they didn't have tarps for. The tarps actually work better than the plastic, I do think. But obviously there's like a lot of the joint compound from the sanding on the floor, and this one should really not be walking there. But I will be vacuuming this up just to clean it up a little bit better. They have, for the first day, finished the sanding of the roof. And why I say that I feel like these guys are more perfectionistic than I am is because they insisted on fixing up all the areas with board joint compound that weren't looking so good. So you can actually see all the wet spots where they've just put it on across the whole roof, basically the whole plasterboard. Even this area where the circles were from the electrical install, they've recompounded that, and that's actually looking really good. And yeah, I'm actually really happy with how well they did, because yeah, they really took care in their work. So I'm happy with day one. I mean, I would have liked it to progress a little bit faster, but so be it, it didn't. Tomorrow, they actually have a bunch of work, but sanding always takes so long. So tomorrow, what they have to do is they put on the primary coat on the plasterboard. They're going to, oh, it looks like they've cleaned that. I just noticed that. So they've cleaned and lightly sanded the steel beam as well. So tomorrow they can also put the primary coat of the new paint on the steel beam too. I did actually give them, the only negative thing that I can say is I did give them something for my lights, like that plastic covering over there, to put over my lights so that didn't happen. But you know what? If that is the worst, then I can live with it. I don't mind. Yeah, so I'm excited for tomorrow. Lots to do tomorrow. Primary, second, primary, second, and if they have time, we're going to glue on the cornices as well. So fingers crossed. And the painters have just left. It is like it is a new house. The ceiling looks incredible. It had two coats of paint. The beam has been painted and it really looks really good. It'll look even better when it's dry. The only place they couldn't finish was over here. That's because I ran out of paint. So that's quite a big section. I'll go and buy some more paint and hopefully they can finish this next week. I got so excited when I saw all of this because it really does look so nice and finished off now. And the walls just stand out so badly. So I've asked them to come back and finish all the walls for me as well. It's all coming together.